Round 3 in the Olympic city of Barcelona. Normally the country of colour and sun, Spain this time welcomed Formula One with heavy rains that dominated both final qualifying and the race.
Predictably, Mansell was fastest on Friday in a time that turned out to be good for yet another pole position. It rained on Saturday and the track was half a minute slower. In the rain, the Englishman was not fastest. It was Jean Alesi. The slower track helped to disguise all the deficiencies of his Ferrari, and Alesi skillfully outpaced Mansell and the others by almost a second. But all his hard work in the rain didn't help him much, however, since he was still only 8th fastest on a dry track.
Schumacher was to start the race from the front row for the first time in his short career, but he was still a full second slower than Mansell.
Just before the start, more rain forced everybody to change tyres on the grid. But at least it seemed the wet track would be a welcome equaliser. Alesi started perfectly, some said too perfectly, but Mansell and Patrese held their positions and once again led the pack. Senna made an untypically bad start and found himself 7th into the first corner. But he immediately passed his teammate Berger and then quickly disposed of Brundle as well to start a race-long chase after Schumacher. Berger's attempt to deal with Alesi in the same way ended like this. Alesi's acrobatics cost him his tyres, and he had to call in to change them halfway through the race. But once the Ferrari mechanics had given him his fresh rubber, his was to be a very inspiring race. The same cannot be said for Patrese's race. He was to mark up the Williams team's first retirement of the season. Closing on Hakkinen to lap him, he lost it. With the Ferrari people watching his every move, Jean Alesi kept on moving up the field, despite occasional hiccups. And Hakkinen was the culprit again. Towards the end of the race, the conditions became so bad that even Senna, a renowned rainmaster, first spun and then crashed for good from his 3rd place. Mansell, however, never put a foot wrong and won masterfully. It was his 25th career win, which put him equal to the great Scot Jim Clark. With 4 wins from 4 starts, he also equalled Senna's record from '91. Schumacher continued his rise and finished 2nd in only his 10th Grand Prix, while Jean Alesi finally gave Ferrari something to cheer about by taking 3rd after Senna's demise. They were wet with rain, and now they could be wet with the traditional champagne.
Michele Alboreto gave Team Footwork their best ever result, while Pierluigi Martini scored the first point for Dallara Ferrari.
With the conditions, you had to be very careful how to overtake, because you couldn't blame the driver in front because he could see nothing behind, and it was sometimes very difficult to overtake, but an incredible race.
In the points race, Mansell pulled further away from everybody, while Schumacher started to worry Patrese. World champion Ayrton Senna was seemingly out of contention. In the team standings, Williams were by now totally on their own, but surprisingly in 2nd place it was not McLaren but Benetton. Ferrari climbed to 4th.
I had a lot of problems during the race, but I think for Ferrari, for Imola race,